Good morning, Magic players. Welcome to the morning show where we discuss all things Magic. Get your questions ready because we're going to do Q&A, so be part of the discussion. Also, we do Decklist review, so if you've got a 75 that you need some feedback on, don't forget to let us share it with us. And you need to fix the win condition, the mana base. You want to show off some spicy new combo never thought of before. Bring it on here, and both myself and the community can give feedback on your deck list. So brew up your cup of coffees and let's brew up some Magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for March 4th, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master, and welcome to another wonderful morning. It is the 4th, right? It is the 4th. Excellent. I feel like I'm losing my voice here. Good morning, MTG Ectoplasm, Jake, Mark, Chris, Massimo, Sports, Casey, Zachary, Eric, Lindsay, Dr. Unicorns. Good morning, Steve. All right, so maybe we should just start this morning off looking at the new spoilers. All the new cards that came out. We saw the new Tarmogoyf yesterday. That was sort of like a mind blow, really, when they did that Tarmogoyf, because, well, I mean, we can probably look at it again. Look at this. Old Border Field of Ruin. I hope they come out with more lands. Personally, I like the Old Border on the land. I mean, honestly, I like the Old Border for a lot of stuff. Old Border in foil looked fucking amazing. The problem is gold borders, non-foil, they look sort of lame. I don't like it at all. But when you see this in foil, it's gorgeous. It's really cool. So they got Temur Ascendancy, Bloodbraid Elf, Lavinia, Azorius Renegade. Each opponent can cast non-creature spells with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands that player controls. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. This is a very powerful card. Very powerful. I got to keep that in mind, even as a Merfolk player. It's pretty easy to splash in a Merfolk deck. I don't know what this card is. I know this is a Kasali Pride Mage. We have a Everflowing Chalice. Chalice of the Void, of course. Chalice of the Void. They got Nature's Claim, Courser of Crewfix, Beast Within, Thragtusk, Primeval Titan. Like, they really gave the Amulet players like everything that they could possibly want. They play all these cards. They play the Reclamation Sage, the Ancient Strings, the Primeval Titan, sometimes the Courser of Crewfix, definitely the Beast Within, and also maybe even the Titan Shift players with the Sylvan Scrying and the Tron. Oh, they're looking out for Tron. They're looking out for Tron. Is there anything else that we missed in the past? I'm not sure. Look at that. Old Border Anger the Gods. Some of these things are going to look amazing in foil. Anyway. And so to answer the question to some people that asked, yeah, I was so sure that they were going to print some old-fashioned gold-bordered cards, and here they are. We're seeing them in action here. So good morning, everyone. All right, so if you're new to the show, you've never been here before, this is how it works. Give me 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question. Helps me find your questions amongst all of the comments that I get from my YouTube channels on my Facebook page. Or if you are on YouTube, you can donate with Super Chats, bumps your question to the top of the queue. Although I have to say, okay, seems like anything under $3 won't give me a notification very well. Like, I'll see it in the chat if I browse through it, but I don't get any like notification to get pushed to the top. But it seems like $3 and above is great. Still works. Ben Golan, I got a trigonometry test in 15 minutes to talk with a fish fan before I do math. Good luck on your trigonometry. Sin Coast, is that trigonometry? Sin Coast 10. I think this is trigonometry. Trigonometry. Lay it on me, people. Oh, ratios and stuff. Hypotenuse. That's right. The hypotenuse. Good luck. Look at all that good old-fashioned stuff. Zachary Laster, new to Magic the Gathering Online. How do I scroll over the cards in-game to make them bigger? I have to right-click them just to get a description of the card. Can't find it online. How? Great question. So fucking annoying. Look, you're going to have to go to your settings to make sure. But usually you just have to hold down I think it's the Z or the Q key. But make sure there is a zoom function in your settings just look to see where which key it's bound to. I think by default it's Q, but I have it for myself Z, but I don't remember if I personally made it Z or it was like in the old days it was bound to Z. But basically, find out which key it's bound to, and then hold it down, and then move your mouse over the card, and then it will zoom up and make it all big and nice. I know, I understand your pain. Why right-click to read the cards? Why even have the text on the cards in digital form? You can't even read it. You can't even read it. I think we should have all full-size cards on Magic the Gathering Online. Borderless full-size cards, I'm telling you all. Will, why do you refer to Pauper as a pony format? So traditional, okay, so I basically consider any format that can't lead to the Pro Tour a pony format. Now, I understand that, like, what it comes down to is a lot of these more casual formats don't know how competitive it can get when you start, like, getting very serious players that can completely break the metagame, and because they need to in order to win, because winning is the priority when you play in a tournament. Now, I have to admit that Pauper now is a route to the Pro Tour, but the culture hasn't really changed all that much. It's not like all the pros are making sideboard guides and showing off all the new tech in Pauper. It seems like the pro culture never, like, that competitive culture never moved to Pauper. So that's why I still call it a pony format. And maybe people don't play Pauper, the more competitive players don't play Pauper because the games take forever to, like, play out. If you want to play, if you hate losing on turn 3 and 4 in Modern, go play Pauper. The games can go to turn 10. Black Dove Entertainment asks, think they are going to print Old Border Sliver Legion? They could. Who knows? I mean, I can't predict. I don't have that information, people. I don't have inside information. You think Wizards talks to me? Wizards usually talks to somebody else that talks to another person that sometimes talks to me, but that's the best I can do. How many sugars in your coffee? None. I'm a sugarless coffee person. I tell you why. All my teeth have been, like, reconstructed 3 times. I've burned so much money on my dentist. Well, burned money, whatever. I love you, Alana, out there. I love you, but I've spent so much money on my dentist over my lifetime. So I have to take a stand if I want to keep my bills lower, keep those fillings going down, preventing the number of, like, ceramic caps I gotta, like, put on my teeth before they completely erode to nothing. So I have no sugar. I have no sugar in my coffee. I love sugar. I love me my sugar, but I gotta, like, make a sacrifice somewhere. And the best sacrifice is my coffee because I don't really notice that it's gone. After a few days, you know, it's a bit weird at first. Oh, there's no sugar in this coffee. And then after that, you don't even notice. What's trigonometry? I'm not trolling, I promise. It is a variation of math. Can ban Eldrazi back on top if it can prove that it's better than Eldrazi Tron. Basically, it's still good. I mean, you can still. One thing about Bant Eldrazi that it had going for it is that the frequency of turn 2 Thought-Knot Seers was way higher. In Eldrazi Tron, the only way you're going to get turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer was Eldrazi Temple into another Eldrazi Temple, whereas in Bant Eldrazi, you go turn 1 Noble Hierarch, turn 2 Eldrazi Temple into a Thought-Knot Seer. So your frequency of making, like, turn 3 Thought-Knot Seers and turn 2 Thought-Knot Seers are much higher. And, you know, not to mention it's a big, chunky card. You know, Bant Eldrazi is the type of deck I think people need to experiment with once a year to see if it's well positioned again. It's still a very strong deck. It plays Ancient Stirrings to find Engineered Explosives. It plays all the really big Eldrazi, gets access to things like the white Eldrazi and the blue Eldrazi, like, what was it called? Eldrazi Displacer. Anyone remember the big chunky one? I can't remember the big Eldrazi. Was it Drowner of something? Drowner. There we go, Drowner of Hope. I was thinking of Drowner of Secrets, and I'm like, I know that's not an Eldrazi. Then there's Drowner of Hope. Not a bad creature, really. Comes to play with colorless Eldrazi Scion tokens. You can sacrifice it to tap creatures. That would have been great in the Tybalt Trickery metagame. I mean, assuming you can get this thing out fast enough. It's a pretty big creature, but very, very interactive. Is it Control Z? I definitely don't hold down control when I zoom in on the cards. I just hold down on the Z key. Can we get breakthrough in modern? What's breakthrough? I think that's the discard cards card. Breakthrough. Yeah, this is draw 4 cards, then choose X cards in your hand and discard the rest. Printed in Torment. Yeah, they could try this. I would be concerned what Dredge would do with this, but maybe it's not so bad, because you need, like, what, 4 mana in play just to draw 3, so I guess it's okay. One, then choose X cards in your hand and discard the rest. Oh, maybe that's a problem. Turn 1. I don't know. I don't know. This is like a bit of a risky one. This is a bit of a risky one. Yeah, he said that I'm Canadian. I'm a Canadian. You Americans with the Z, C, E, like you're just confusing each other. Then if you ever complain that they screwed up your name on your credit card when you called in to like register the damn thing, then it's your fault because all the letters sound the same. Although I go to America and when I tell them my name, because my last name has Z's in it, I use Zed, and they're like, "What? Zed? What?" I mean, not all Americans are like this, but some of them just literally have no idea what I'm talking about. And I said Z, and then oh, I get it. Whatever. It's a silly American thing. You think you own the alphabet? You think you own it? You own nothing. Chris Menz, is there a specific reason Gift Storm is not playing fetches besides budget? Seems good to me. Why would you want to play fetch lands? Is a good question. If any deck can go fetchless, I think that's ideal. I mean, you play around things like Arbiter. You play around Arbiter. You also might be saving life in the long run because fetching into shocks is very expensive, and as a combo deck, you might want to be keeping your life total as high as possible. If you notice how, like, at least how Storm plays against me, like, even if they can combo off, it seems like they just don't combo off when they can. They wait for the moment that I'm about to kill them, and then they combo off. They would like to preserve their life total as high as possible, to give themselves the maximum number of land drops and draw as many cards before they actually combo off. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. Other than that, I don't know why they go fetchless. I honestly don't know why they would go one way or the other. John Lee asks, what can you safely assume would be unbanned this year in terms of modern? I can't guarantee anything gets unbanned. What do I think is a very safe unban? One artifact land. I don't know, the white one. That would be very, very safe. No one would even notice anything happen. Carlos, good morning. MTG Ectoplasm. What strategy games would you recommend for critical thinking to help improve our thought process for MTG? Poker. Poker is probably the best strategy game. If you want to talk about your thought process, poker is probably the best one. Poker has so much luck in it. Like, what poker will beat into you is that even if you're a good player and you are winning, the luck will just fucking crush you over some period of weeks or months, and there's nothing you can do about that. You got to understand that the nature of Magic has a lot of variance in it. There's a lot of luck in Magic, but there's even more luck in poker, and it will make you a very humble person in terms of the amount of variance that there is in this game. But you got to start thinking of things more statistically instead of like, I think people look at things like in more absolute terms, like they have complete control over their fate, and you have to think of it more in terms of odds. So you gotta think, if you make this play, it increases your chances of winning the game. If you do this, you increase your chances of winning the game. And the more things you do that increase your chances of winning the game, the more games you're going to win. And that's what poker will teach you to do, assuming you approach the game correctly and you actually take the time to learn the game. There's a lot of successful players in the Magic community that came from a chess or poker background, amongst some other really hardcore strategy games. But there's It's how do I put it? It makes sense to me that a lot of the best players in Magic had like a chess or poker background because they had the experience from a very serious game in that background. Oh, we got a super chat. Filthy Fish, welcome back. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thoughts on Merfolk Secret Keeper? I was super surprised how good it was with creature-based games, and it was, and it with slowing down burn in practice. If it was a 1-power creature, I can get behind it. But like, it doesn't do anything other than that. It's literally a 1-mana 0/4. Honestly, I haven't play tested it, so I mean, if this card is some like incredibly great tech, I mean, I don't know about it. But here's the deal: like, you can't turn 4 kill people with this card, right? Can you? I don't think you can turn 4 kill anyone with this card. Maybe that's not important in some metagames, but I mean, in general, Merfolk. I mean, the card is great, but not exactly for Merfolk. It's great for all the stupid busted decks. Also, really nice picture. Honestly, I've never play tested the card because I know it can't turn 4 kill anyone. It has no other utility except against some aggro decks. Like, what if I'm up against Tron? What is this going to do? What if I'm up against Control? What is this going to do? What if I'm up against Combo? What is this going to do? What if I'm up against Jund? What is this going to do? So the range of decks that I think it's useful in is very low. And the decks that it's going to be good against, say Burn, Prowess. Well, first off, we're going to be great against Burn anyway, no matter what 1-drop we play. We've got a lot of game or an outright high advantage. So I wouldn't be looking at playing a card that's mediocre in like most matchups for a matchup that we're going to be doing well anyway. I'm certain that this is probably okay against Prowess though, because they're going to have to. You'll probably soak up some damage. You'll make a block, and they have to use a burn spell on it. So it'll be an even trade. Still not where I want to be. Thanks for the question though. What is the best competitive format? I mean, I would argue Modern. I would argue it's Modern, only because it is hands down the most popular of the non-rotating formats, and the only reason Standard is played, period, is because it's sort of forced by Wizards of the Coast. Modern is a format that is very it organically grows with or without Wizards of the Coast assistance, and it's so even the heat of even when the format is super toxic and it's terrible and it's got so many garbage archetypes in it, it still holds better numbers than the other formats. The low of Modern is still beating everyone else. Dredge would abuse a draw 4 card. Yeah, draw 4, discard your hand so fast. Imagine Dredge draw that card that draw twice in one game. They can even keep the card they want in hand if they want to play 2, but they still need to draw cards. So on turn, I don't know if this card is so good on turn 1 when we talk about breakthrough. It might be better on turn. I don't know. Maybe it's good on turn 1. I'm not sure, because you can't go just turn 1, pay a blue, dump your hand, and call it a day. Because then they don't actually do anything. Next turn they dredge, but that's it. I don't know. I'd have to ask Sodek about this. But maybe on turn 2 it's good. Draw 4 cards, because you can pay 1. Because on turn 2 you can pay 2, draw 4 cards, discard everything except Cathartic Reunion, and then hopefully you can just go off from there. So it might be a better Cathartic Reunion. Is Eldrazi Tron a good choice for a first Modern deck? They look so cool. Yes, I think this is a very good choice. Very proactive, very strong. Utility cards for everything. And a good learning curve. You're going to get a lot of power up front, but you can actually, as you learn the deck, get better with it because, hey, all those Karn the Great Creator targets mean a lot. So you have a lot of choices, and you have a lot of room to grow as a player with that sort of archetype. And still playable. Robinson asked, how do you think Counterspell would affect Modern metagame if it was printed to the format? I don't think it would change anything. I don't think it would change anything at all. I think some decks wouldn't even play it because they can't accommodate the double blue and the mana cost. I think the card is fine for Modern. It wouldn't change fuck all, in my opinion. The only thing that would be different is that Tron would be hurt a little bit more. That's it. Because when they have a lot of mana and they can get out of range of Mana Leak, that won't happen anymore. Now blue will just have strictly Counterspell. But make no mistake, there's going to be situations where it's too clunky. Let's say there's going to be some versions of blue where it's going to be too clunky, where they need to play around Blood Moon and they fetch out basics and they don't have so much blue mana. It's a lot easier to hold up a single blue and a random colorless instead of double blue. But it would replace like all the other garbage counterspells, Mana Leak, Logic Knot, and stuff like that. But that's all. And that stuff was countering stuff 95% of the time anyway. So that's some of the arguments against Counterspell in Modern. That, you know, Mana Leak is basically Counterspell as it is. But like, I really don't think it would change much. I think it would change very, very, very little. It would change super little. What do you think about Legacy as a format right now with the continuous price spikes? Is Legacy dead? I mean, if you want to look at the price spikes, Legacy was dead like 4 years ago. So like the Legacy turnout for open events just kept shrinking over and over again. But the online presence is very stable. So like it's getting whatever number of players are playing online, it's very, very stable. So if you really like the Legacy format, you can still play online. They've got a great community and it's going to exist probably for a very, very long time. I want to say Legacy is a bit boring, to be honest. And maybe that's something, you know, like the Delver deck is like the fucking same. The Dark Depths deck is the same. The Blue-White Miracles deck is more or less still the same. Like there isn't, unless there's like a really big new archetype that's created out of nowhere. I mean, it's a very similar format as 5 years ago. The Storm deck is still very similar. Like it feels like there are very, very few changes, few new archetypes breaking through. I mean, it really feels like they need to ban Brainstorm or something overall. But I mean, they're just not going to do that. It's a fine format. It's very, very intricate itself. But anyway, I'm not as in love with that format as I am with Modern. And also, Modern gets a lot more attention, so sticking with Modern. I go where the views are. They showed the white artifact land for Time Spiral. I know. So maybe they're going to unban this one artifact land. See what happens. Do you play chess? I do. I'm actually a chess master. You could look me up, Nikachu, on chess.com, on Lee Chess. I'm there. I also have a second account on Lee Chess called 500 IQ Chess Strategy, just so I could troll my my opponents. But I'm a certified master. With Hasbro pushing for more direct-to-consumer products and COVID still going on, what do you think of the future of Modern paper? Very, very good. Modern paper, like, okay, a lot of people think like, oh, paper Magic is dead. I guarantee you, once everyone's vaccinated, everyone can safely go to a big event, and then they host a big event, it'll be like one of the biggest events of all time. It's not like a few people are going to show up. Everyone's going to show up. Everyone's going to be there. Everyone's like super hungry for social interaction and big conventions. Maybe there's going to be some people who are afraid. They're going to stay home. Everyone else is going to show up. Once it's safe for a big convention to happen, I tell you, it's going to be the biggest numbers. That'll be my prediction. There's going to be huge numbers the moment that you can safely have a convention for like Magic the Gathering. And Paper Modern all paper events are going to be back. They're not going to throw away paper. It's real. This is some insane theory that Magic is going to turn purely digital. That is not happening. Not in the slightest. Especially since the paper events get more views and exposure, and the core of their like business model is the paper product. I think they may be unbanning the white artifact land. It just got spoiled in Time Spiral Remastered, and it's the only one in the cycle to be in the set. Yeah, I wouldn't actually put much stock into that. Maybe they'll unban it just to reban it, just for fun. They reprinted Splinter Twin in a Modern Master set, and they just banned it like 2 weeks later. So I wouldn't put much thought into it. Oh, was there an internet hiccup? I missed it. We good. Old Border Waste spoiled? Oh, that's pretty cool. Is it in my... I don't got it yet. I do have Prized Amalgam. We got Prized Amalgam here and Knight of the Reliquary. This actually looks good on Prized Amalgam. And then this ugly card. I don't remember this card. All I know is it's like a bulk rare. Who cares about this thing? There we go. Ancient Den. Artifact land. Spruce Tree asks, how do you feel about Artificer's Intuition and it possibly being used for an Artifacts toolbox deck? What format? Artificer's Intuition. Oh, I got this question before. This is a very powerful card, but probably it has no home yet. Like, I do really like the fact that it's 2 mana. I mean, it's effectively 3 mana tutor, and we know Teleria West is so strong at 3 mana. So I mean, if Teleria West, we know this card is busted. 3 mana tutor, very strong. This is 3 mana tutor, but like every future tutor, oh, you have to discard an artifact. Not a big deal though. But every future tutor costs 1. The problem is there's just probably not enough good things to tutor for. This is probably a very undervalued card. This is a good spec. $2? Because the day that this becomes good, it's gonna be fucking amazing. This is a very strong card. It just doesn't. It probably just doesn't have any engine for it yet. Well, you could play Trinket Mage. That's true, but that's not a repeatable effect. This is like Artificer's Intuition. It's like you can do this for forever. Sort of. I mean, Trinket Mage is card advantage, whereas Artificer's Intuition is just looting. For the most part. Yeah, I understand. I totally understand, Jamal. But this is constant searching. Assuming you have artifacts to discard. I think it's an underrated card. I don't want to say it's an underrated card. It just doesn't have enough things to find at 1 mana or less that matter. But one day maybe it will. I'm sort of lost on where... Oh no, I'm back. You can totally turn 4 kill people with Merfolk Secret Keeper just by spell shot, of course. Were you a fan of Merfolk first or a fan of Modern first? I was a fan of Modern first, and I was trying to figure out what deck I should play, and I eventually stumbled upon Merfolk. Eric asked, to play Mardu Goblins in Modern, white is for Deflecting Palm, also Skyclave Apparition. Oh, I think that's a bad splash. You shouldn't splash for cards that are double of a color. Also, it's harder to play. If you're gonna play Goblins, it's harder to play Cavern of Souls and cards like that if you're gonna have something that's completely off color. I don't think the splash is good enough. I don't think Deflecting Palm is good. Like, I think Deflecting Palm is a real jank card. Skyclave Apparition is a great card, but the double white is that. I mean, you do not splash for double white cards. You splash for like single white cards. So I could get behind Deflecting Palm, even though I'm not really in love with the card. But this has no other synergy with the deck. Like, if you really needed this effect, you'd be better off with, like, I don't know, Oblivion Stone. This is easier to, not Oblivion Stone, Oblivion Ring. Because this is actually easier to splash for. You only need a single white, cost the same. Exile any permanent. Anyway, I just wouldn't do it. Sajiri Merfolk in blue-white Merfolk in a heavy burn meta. Yeah, you could do it. It's like a 2/1 creature with first strike. But, well, you need a plains, though. That's hard. If you don't have the plains, then it doesn't get the lifelink. I know this card. So the problem is, how do you develop your mana base for the plains? So if you want the plains, you need to play probably fetch lands and shock lands. And if you're playing fetch lands and shock lands, you're taking damage. So you fetch, you shock out your Hollow Fountain to get your Sajiri Merfolk out, and then they Searing Blaze it, and then you take 3 damage. Did you really win? Did you really come out ahead? I think the best way of beating Burn is to just have a painless mana base and make them really work hard to kill you. Instead, like, this thing is just gonna die most of the time, right? I think this is just gonna die most of the time. I don't think it's worth bringing in for Burn. Not to mention, Merfolk has a really good matchup against Burn, so we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to become Winmore or something. Why should I or should not play Gift Storm? You should play Gift Storm because the deck is actually really there's a lot of hate cards for it, but it stood the test of time. And the current the last season's trophy leader on Magic the Gathering Online, he was playing Gift Storm and is already back at it, winning trophies all over again. So the deck is really resistant and adaptable to the metagame. Hollow Soul King asks, I know you don't like Mox Opal, but do you ever see it coming back off the ban list as long as Astrolabe is gone? Look, Opal was busted way before Astrolabe was printed. Way before Astrolabe. Opal was never played in a fair deck. And it should have been banned a long time ago. And it just ended up getting banned the time that it was because finally, I don't know, it was so clear after so many archetypes broke the card after 6 years that, okay, now let's deal with this stupid card. Astrolabe had nothing to do with it. Could Opal come off the ban list? Probably not, because Modern is supposed to be the turn 4 format, and they'll never take off the ban list anything that can abuse that rule. So anything that could win on turn, that would potentially give people turn 2, turn 3 kills or turn 3 wins, they're not going to take it off. Even if there's infinite answers, even if there's Force of Will in the format, they're not taking this card off. Because, like, if you want those degenerate games, like, the thing is, Mox Opal is not nearly as busted in Legacy. A lot of people say, look, it does nothing in Legacy, but you can die on turn 2 in Legacy. Like, even if you have Mox Opal, you're not going to race the fast decks. But in Modern, everything is curated to be really slow. So if you're the only deck with Mox Opal and you're in a metagame that wins on turn 4, 5, 6, and 7, then you're going to have a massive advantage over everybody. So no, there's not a chance Mox Opal's coming off. Same thing with Faithless Looting, if anyone's going to ask in advance. Those cards are not coming off the ban list. Just curious, how do you pronounce Z-A-C-Z-E-K? It's Zacek. It's pronounced Zacek. Should I build Amulet Titan or Tron? If you're okay with cards getting banned from your deck, you can build Amulet Titan. If you're not, build Tron. I don't think anything is going to get banned from Tron. Maybe Karn the Great Creator one day, but even if that's the case, it probably won't matter. Amulet Titan is so powerful. It is definitely going to get cards banned from it from now in the future. Like, Amulet Titan is this type of powerful deck that will just get cards banned around it for a very long time until I don't know what. It's gotten Summer Bloom banned. It's got Once Upon a Time banned. It got Field of the Dead banned. It's going to get more cards banned from it. So if you're okay with building a deck that is going to have cards banned from it over time, Amulet Titan. If you want anything banned from it, go with Tron. Tron's not going to get shit banned. I think the only card that ever got banned out of it was Eye of Ugin, and it really didn't matter. I remember people at the time, people were like, you can't ban Eye of Ugin. Tron plays Eye of Ugin. You're going to kill Tron. Oh, God, fuck off. It was such a stupid argument. No one remembers the bad takes, you know? That's the thing about the internet. You could have all the worst garbage takes in the world, and thank God no one goes back to, like, point out, okay, look how wrong you were. You know, just like all the takes about Stoneforge Mystic. You can't unban Stoneforge Mystic. If you unban Stoneforge Mystic, you have to ban Batterskull. You can't unban Jace the Mind Sculptor unless you unban Bloodbraid Elf too. You know, all these takes. Modern, I mean, Modern is a pretty hostile form. And you just had to use this logic. Like, how quickly can Stoneforge Mystic kill you? That's all you got to do, because we still have decks in Modern that can win by turn 3 and turn 4. That's all you have to do. Turn 2, Stoneforge Mystic. Turn 3, put Batterskull in play. Turn 4, attack for 4. I mean, are you dead yet? No, you're not. And that's why Stoneblade decks don't take over. It's a good card. Don't get me wrong, it's a good card, but it's not that good. What's your favorite counterspell artwork? The OG not the OG, certainly. Counterspell, the masks one, Bricadian masks. There's some, let's look at all the counterspell arts. There's a lot of nice arts. I'm actually not a fan of this, I don't know, spaceman looking one. Look, it looks like he's going into outer space. He's one with astrophysics or something like that. So here's one I really like. I really like this one. I think this is a nice one. I think this is a nice art. This is very unique art from an old promo counterspell. Can't say I'm in love with it. Okay, this is my favorite one, though. This is my favorite one. And in foil, looks nice. And it's a Merfolk. It's a Merfolk, people. This is a Merfolk. What else do we got? Yeah, so here's the OG promo. That's it. Just like those two arts. Everything else is like, okay. Not in love with anything. Have you ever tried Pauper? And if yes, would you recommend the format? I can definitely recommend the format. I have played it. It's found it very underwhelming immediately. That's all I can say about it. I just like to play a format with more power. That's all. So it's like it's a really underpowered format for me. What kind of master? A chess master. Thomas Perry, should I buy into paper now? Are costs for paper cards low right now? I never looked into it. Yes, I think you should. In my opinion, it's not financial advice, but I think you should buy into paper now. I think a lot of the cards they're actually going back up. So I think people are already making their move to buy into paper cards. But they're still pretty low. I think it's a good time to buy into paper. He's actually a 2000. People looking at my chess ratings. Looks like Nikachu's a national master rated 2100 in bullet chess. Bullet chess? Who cares about bullet chess? I play mostly blitz chess. If you look at like my bullet history, I don't know. I don't know when the last time I played a bullet game. Ori Dolgan, I've been trying Simic Merfolk on Magic the Gathering Arena Historic, and it's pretty fun. Are there any tech cards you would work in this format? Not really. I don't think there's anything super techy. I mean, I really like that the deck does really well. I mean, I don't know what your list is. Like Collected Company, maybe Realm Walker can be squeezed in there. Maybe, I don't know. Because the historic version of Merfolk is very threat dense. Like there's not many spells, so you could probably get away with Realm Walker in there somewhere. Maybe though. I don't really want to push out Mirror Regery or Command a Tyrant of Vraska. Banana Lord, and you got a Avatar of Banana, 10 out of 10. Okay, do you think Humans has any room to grow, discounting any new cards being printed, and anything good not being played in, or subvariants that could be played? I don't think there's any specific build that is better than what there already exists. I think it's already jammed with all the new cards. But the great thing about getting into Humans is that you can be guaranteed that they're constantly going to be printing Humans every set. So that's the advantage of going into the Humans deck. They already have like a great cards, great everything, and it can only get better because they're always going to be printing more Humans. There's definitely room to tweak the deck, though. I don't agree with people always sitting with the stock 75, especially the sideboard. I think the sideboard has a lot of room to be changed. Oh, we got a super chat. Mitch J, of course, Mitch J. How's your morning roots? You doing good? Delivering the goods. Morning, Nick. I've been thinking that too many people are crying for bans now against Thoughtseize and Inquisition. I think people need to understand that Thoughtseize is the combo please thoughts. You're 100% correct. People just hate Thoughtseize taking away their best card. You remember that video that I made on my channel, Thank You Force Negation? I have been meaning to do a thank you Thoughtseize because Thoughtseize is very similar to Force Negation in that, it's possible. Combo players will really hate Thoughtseize and Inquisition, but then regular people can also hate Thoughtseize and Inquisition. But for the most part, they are absolutely the police of the format. When Splinter Twin got banned, and then after Eldrazi Winter, and after all those things got banned, the format was super diverse, super hyper aggro, really aggressive, And it took until Death Shadow became an archetype for the metagame to sort of settle down and quiet down and be a little bit slower, because finally Thoughtseizes could be a police to the format. And anyway, you're 100% right. People need to stop complaining so much about Thoughtseize and Inquisition. They are fun. They're good cards. They're good cards to have. You want people playing with those black decks. If not, you're going to be constant. If you're not going to be up against Thoughtseize, then you're going to be up against Storm. Which one do you want? You know, which one do you want? Pick your poison. You want to die on turn 2 and 3? You want to die on turn 2 and 3? Oh, look, Sliver Legion. So people are asking, is it possible Sliver Legion could happen? I said, yes, it is possible. Okay, hold on. Is it spoiled here? It's no. Got Cloud. I've got the Cloud Shredder Sliver. Okay, I'll look for Sliver Legion. Just look it up on Twitter. You know, Twitter's got my back. Oh, we got reprinted, but not with the old frame. Gotcha. Sliver Legion. Boom. 7/7. All slivers creatures get +1/+1 for each other sliver on the battlefield. So, I mean, got enough slivers, boom, everything is enormous. If you find it hard to count what the fucking lords do on the battlefield, you're going to find it even harder to count what Sliver Legion does. Okay, let's look at every single sliver that we got here. Who's excited for Sliver Legion? People don't understand that if you adopt a Thoughtseize strategy, Thoughtseize is your best card, so is a 1-for-1. I mean, yeah, it's just 1-for-1. Want Storm to be rampant, then ban Thoughtseize? Or you want, like, any combo deck? I mean, it's possible that Neo Brand would have taken over the metagame because there wasn't enough Force of Negations to hold it back, and Thoughtseize could have been like, and there weren't enough Thoughtseize decks to help fight the good fight versus the BS nonsense. Juha asks, are you going to collaborate with Andre Segara in the Spirits Master more? It's possible. I don't do a whole lot of collaboration, but I do once in a while. He's definitely welcome back on the show again. Slivers best tribe. I do have I do like slivers. I do like me my slivers. Dark Confidant and Jund, thoughts? I think it's unplayable. I think the card is garbage now. Today, turn 2, put a 2/1 body on the battlefield and get nothing out of it. And then when you do, you lose life. You can't do that today. I think that's a dangerous thing in today's metagame. Maybe if the metagame could slow down a lot, like there's no aggro decks, less removal, more combo and control, I think we could see that card make a comeback. Yeah, Ren and 6 does a better job than Bob now. Like, at least Ren and 6 interacts with the battlefield and also gets value from the graveyard, and the ultimate is still pretty good. Yeah, turn 2 Ren and 6 is the new Jund. I don't even like Ren and 6, to be honest, but I'll admit it's better than Dark Confidant. Dark Confidant is bad against Lava Darts and Gut Shot and anything. Like, it's just bad value. Yeah, when you would do something on turn 2, you gotta do something like pretty high impact. I just feel that revealing your opponent's hand and then forcibly mulliganing them for 1 is really powerful. There's also no evidence that it restricts combo decks. Storm fights through it with redundancy. No, well, any deck can fight through Thoughtseize though. Like, you just top deck through it. You know what I mean? But combo decks have a way harder time winning when you're taking their combo pieces from them. Like, that's the point. Thoughtseize, that will buy you like 2 more turns, and it's your responsibility to win through it in time. Thoughtseize is most definitely not a bannable card, not by a long shot. And it's not like, if you want to say it makes them mulligan, it makes you mulligan too. Also, there is a huge disadvantage to Thoughtseize. If you top deck Thoughtseize on turn 7, it's garbage. So you got to win like earlier. You got to make sure your cards matter earlier, because later in the game, Inquisition and Thoughtseize are just dead cards to draw off the top of your deck. Hello, Soul King. In your opinion, what would be a good 3-color Urza variant? Oh, I have no idea. 3-color? That sounds too much. I would just play mono or 2 colors. Okay, people, you know what time it is today? You know what time it is? It's deck list review time. Let's review those deck lists. So, I have a link in my description to my Discord. Join my Discord. It's a wonderful Discord. Don't forget to go to the channel. Deck list review. If you want to get your deck list chosen, and you use the command !review deck space and put the URL of your deck list, and then you will be eligible at random people for deck list review. Don't worry, it says you're in a queue. Your position means nothing. I'm going to choose you all at random, and as people are submitting their deck list for deck list review, we are going to thank our sponsors, starting with the Fusion Gaming Online, formerly the manabase.com, but Fusion Gaming Online, the my favorite local game store, definitely the place where you can get all your singles, sleeves, and deck boxes. The deal of the week: 15% off all Kaldheim singles and sealed product. So if you need to get anything from Kaldheim, the new set, and you want to get some sealed product, go check out Fusion Gaming Online. And also, you can support the channel by shopping with discount code Nikachu or coupon code Nikachu at checkout. Get 5% off all your purchases. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. I mean, if you want to test out your deck or tinker with different types of cards, don't buy and sell them constantly. Rent them. Just put up one monthly payment, and you can exchange and try out all the cards you want. You can support the channel by using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 3 months using my coupon code Nikachu. And away we go. Deck list ready. Is this not working? Maelstrom. Let's make it non-budget. I don't know what that means. Congratulations, Maelstrom. You're the next contestant on deck list review. And also, I think you must. Oh, this is Maelstrom MTG from the channel Maelstrom MTG. All right, so the budget master wants to make a non-budget red deck wins deck. Is what I'm guessing. You with Ash Zealot, Eidolon the Great Revel, Bone Crusher Giant, Boros Reckoner, Fanatic of Mogus. Oh, you really want to get this devotion thing off, right? Flame Slash, Lightning Bolt, Rift Bolt, Skewer the Critics. Leyline of Combustion, Forgotten Cave, 16 Mountains, 2 Ramanap Runes. Okay, how are we going to make this non-budget? My local game store is doing tourney. Should I bring Storm or Blue-White? Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know your metagame. It all depends on your metagame. If you think there's a lot of control, bring Storm. Storm is a good matchup against control. If you think there's a lot of because there's like control or combo, bring Storm, because control is bad against. I don't know if you want to play the control mirror, and also control is bad against Storm. But if there's a lot of aggro and mid-range, you could go Blue-White. Dang, this deck would be nicer with the Mana Monkey. I don't think so. I think it's fine as it is. I think it needs more 1-drops. Like, I want to squeeze first strike haste whenever a player casts a spell from a graveyard. Ash Zealot deals 3 damage to that player. I know this is a devotion deck, but I really want to squeeze in. Well, okay, at the very least, if I don't know, but I think you want to have Nykthos in here. I just don't know how good it would be in Modern. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. 2 of them? Oh, there's the one with the little symbol at the bottom, because it was on the list. The list. I think that's very cheesy. Look, they made a duplicate with a little symbol at the bottom. I don't know, though. Torbrand? Maybe Torbrand is better than Fanatic of Mogus. I really don't like this one. Enters the battlefield, it deals damage to each opponent equal to your devotion to red. I don't know how much I'm in love with this card. Maybe it's good. I think Torbrand is a strong card. Although, no ETB effect. You have to wait a turn, but when you do, it's enormous. If a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent, an opponent controls deals that much damage +2 instead. So I think this might be a better 4-drop than this. Snow Mountains. So that's one way of upgrading the deck. Oh, maybe Hell Rider. That's like the haste creature, right? Yeah. Haste. Whenever a creature you control attacks, Hell Rider deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. That's not bad. That might be a better... Like, my problem with Fanatic of Mogus is probably a lot of your stuff is going to die. And it's also just not even a very strong creature by itself for 4 mana. I might be wrong. Like, the problem is I haven't played with or against this deck for, like, 7 years. I remember when this deck was basically... You basically have a standard deck here, minus the Bone Crusher Giant. But a lot of these creatures are very similar. The thing is, if you go all in on this, you need to have... I think you should have more creatures than, like, removal. That's a great point. Seal of Fire, a little on the weak side, but adds devotion until it's sacrificed. I don't mind that. I like that. Maybe it's better than Riftbolt, which doesn't add any devotion at all. A little clunky. Well, I don't know about Grim Lavamancer. I would place probably Swift Spear or something if we kept this many these things. What is this? Well, Ball Lightning is a one-shot deal, and then it's gone. Usually don't have a lot of faith in Ball Lightning. Line of Combustion. When you or at least one permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, Ley Line of Combustion deals 2 damage to that player. This might be good. It's better with more creatures, though. Yeah, Sunbed Canyon, some number would be better. Especially since this comes to play tapped. Actually, we can't afford this thing to come into play tapped at all. Sunbed Canyon it is. 100% Sunbed Canyon. I think the sideboard is fine. Roiling Vortex, 3 Blood Moon, Scab... Well, I don't know about the Scab Clan Berserker. Deals 2 damage to that player. This is a pretty weak card to have in your sideboard. This is good. This is good. This is good. I don't know about this one. There's got to be something better than this. It's just a haste creature that deals some damage. I mean, either have this in the main or something. It's a bit weird card to have in the sideboard. Isn't Fanatic of Mogus the only devotion payoff? That's actually true. We have this devotion deck with no actual way of like getting a payoff for our devotion. So does that mean we need to have more Fanatic of Mogus in this deck? Aether let's look. Maybe Aether Vial's good. Maybe Aether Vial's good. Actually, my only problem is I don't know how to improve this deck because I don't know. It's red deck wins basically, but if you want to go red deck wins, you might be better off with the mono red prowess deck. But this is clearly a different direction. Whenever a Bolas Reckoner is dealt damage, deals that much damage to any target. You know what? I'm thinking about it. Maybe we should just have more of these. Like, if we're playing with stuff like Ley Line of Combustion, Ash Zealot, Eyeline of the Great Revel, we might want to go all in on Fanatic of Mogus. Like, on average, I bet this creature deals 3 damage to the opponent, on average. And I think that's a pretty good rate. So let's remove like some Flame Slashes and add Fanatic of Mogus to the battle to this thing. And maybe we remove some Rift. I don't know if this is the best idea, but remove Riftbolt, add Seal of Fire for the devotion. But that could be wrong. The 3 damage might matter too much. Yeah, so it's like Seal of Fire might be the thing. Shady Hassanine, thanks for the $4. What was your question though? You're allowed to ask. Thank you very much for the super chat, though. I appreciate it. If you throw up a question, I hope I can end up seeing it. Sometimes people just randomly give super chats. Deck Pyro John, I think this is just a different type of deck. You could definitely go in that direction. John says, if it's not face damage, then it's not good in Modern, in my opinion. Well, the thing with these cards are, like, Eidolon will definitely guarantee some damage. Boros Reckoner might guarantee some damage if the opponent is killing it with, like, burn spells. And Fnatic Amogus will also almost guarantee damage. Oh, what's my thoughts on Rakto's mid-range? I think it's still a good deck. I think it's better than Jund. But it has fallen off the map, that's for sure. There's a lot less people playing it. But I think it's worth more than Jund in my opinion. And it didn't receive any bans. Like none of the cards out of all the bans, it doesn't change any of the cards in that deck. I think Rakdos midrange is very underrated. Oh, he sent it above? Remember this. Oh, so So I hope that answered your question. Oh, so it was this. Good morning. I wanted to ask, what's your thoughts on Rakdos midrange in the meta right now? Do people not play it because it's expensive? I went 10-0 with it yesterday through 2 leagues. Like I said, I think it's an underrated deck. I think it's a super underrated deck. I think it's better than Jund because I think it's doing things better than Jund. It plays Blood Moon, which can cheat in some wins. It's just a cleaner Jund deck. What do you need Tarmogoyf for? You have Magmatic Chandler and Croxa anyway. So I think it's just a really strong archetype. You know what? If you go 10-0 with it in the leagues, maybe you can now prove that it's still good and people will get attracted to it. Some people fall asleep on some decks. They're like, okay, that deck was good before, and then they forget about it, and then like no one plays it anymore. And then when it starts winning again, people are like, oh yeah, maybe that deck is good, and then more people can cascade and get more results with it. Thank you very much for the super chat, and good luck with Rakdos. I think it's a strong deck. I think it's a very strong deck. I think it's bullshit no one's playing it. Rakdos, best deck in Modern. Oh, Ben is back. Finish the trig task. Easy. I think you did well. Excellent. You knew your hypotenuses and the acute angles and the 90 degrees. All right. Anyway, let's get to another deck list. Thank you, Maelstrom, for the submitting of the deck list. I hope we were some value to you. Wasn't sure how to make it a more powered deck, though. Speaking of Rakdos midrange, we've got Vanquished with a Rakdos midrange deck. All right, we're getting our Rakdos midrange out. In what format, though? This is Modern? Okay. Yeah, Sokotoa, I remember that. Bloodchief's Thirst, Dreadbore, Inquisition of Kozilek, Thoughtseize, Unearth. I don't know if I can get behind Liliana the Walker of the Dead. For 4 mana, each player... Can we zoom in? I feel like I'm a little far away from this deck list. So for 4 mana, +1, each player discards a card. Each opponent who can't loses 3 life. I think that's a bit weak by turn 4. -3, target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. Also pretty weak if the opponent's interacting with your graveyard. I think this is a very bad ability. And the emblem, I'm not even going to look at it because the first 2 abilities can't hold their own. So I don't think this is a playable card, just period. I just don't like this card. Frostbite. This is a very situational card. Deals 2 damage to target creature or player. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, it deals 3 damage instead. Why not play Skred? I mean, Skred I think is just better, right? Instant. Skred deals damage to target creature equal to the number of snow permanents you control. What can it? This one hit Planeswalkers? This one can hit Planeswalkers, but it's limited to 3 damage. This one's not limited to anything. Honestly, I still wouldn't even play it. I'd replace this card with more Bloodchief's Thirst or something. Where's your Fatal Push? Where's Fatal Push? There's no Fatal Push in this deck? Where's your Fatal Pushes? You gotta have Fatal Push. Is this like a fetchless mana base? Oh, it's fetchless. Is this budget? Are we on a budget here? Is there a description? There's no description here. I need more info. Okay, I think this is a budget deck. I don't think that's relevant, though. Can't afford. Well, you don't need Liliana the Veil, though. You know what? You don't need Liliana the Veil. You want value? All right, everyone. Let's try to find. What are some nice underrated mono black, black red, or mono red planeswalkers? How about this? Let's look at the Chandras. There's a lot of wonderful, beautiful Chandras out there. Oops. I think this is an underrated card. And you can get her for $1. I think she's underrated. Because screw the zero, you can screw this zero bill. You can use this one. Create 2 1/1 red elemental creature tokens. They gain haste. But you really play it for the -2. You cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard. If that card would be put into your graveyard this turn, it's like a 3 mana Snapcaster Mage basically. And then this one. This one's expensive, but it's super powerful. This is a very powerful card. Cannot be countered. Each opponent gets an emblem at the beginning of your upkeep. This emblem deals 1 damage to you. The -3 is gas, deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature, and everything's gas. It's actually money though, $7. That's why it's not jank. Where is Chandra Torch? How is expensive is she though? Oh, she's cheap. $6? Is that real? Khaled. $6. Then this is like the best card of all time. This is a very good card. So it's for $6. You have like a premium planeswalker. There's no BSing around here. This is very strong. Yeah, around $5. Like, this is infinitely better than this Liliana Walker of the Dead. You want to know what this card does? Infinite card advantage, basically. +1, exile the cards. Either deal damage to them or draw a card, basically, because you can play the card that you draw. +1 to add mana, which could be useful to play 2 spells in 1 turn and protect your Chandra. -3 deals 4 damage to target creature, very relevant. And, like, whatever. The -7 is not a big deal, but if you pull it off, whenever you cast a spell, this emblem deals 5 damage to target creature or player. But the Chandra Torch of Defiance is definitely like super good. One of the best red maybe the best red planeswalker ever. Right here. You can afford it, I think, for $10. Huge upgrade over Liliana the Walker of the Dead. Sorry, we got a new girlfriend. It's Chandra. Frostbite, I would definitely remove for something else. I don't know, anything else. Lightning Skelemental. I don't really believe in this card. Oh, you're playing with Unearth. Okay, that's fine. I understand. Like, I don't really believe in this sort of deck, but I know that people play it. I'll just admit it's playable. I'll admit it's playable. Croxa, Bone Crusher Giant. These are all good cards. Instead of Frostbite, just play with more Dreadbores if you want more answers for Planeswalkers. I think this 1 mana deal 2 damage thing is just like way too poor. I think Dreadbore is totally fine. So, and also up your Bloodchief's Thirst. So we'll remove the Liliana for Chandra, remove Frostbite for 1 more Bloodchief's Thirst and 1 more Dreadbore, and I think you're going to be good to go. I don't have a sideboard here, but all the numbers. I would rather you instead of Lightning Skelemental. I know this is the expensive one, so now I understand you're on a budget. But then the first thing to replace would be Lightning Skelemental for Seasoned Pyromancer. I think that's very strong. But aside from that, I think the rest of the deck would be solid if you replace Lily, Chandra, replace Frostbite with a Bloodchief's Thirst and a Dreadbore. I think I pulled a Chandra Torch of Defiance at least 2 times, but against control deck, so it was not like she was pressured. Would be evil be good? I don't know. Hold on. Destroy Terror. A little too clunky. A little too clunky. Playable card. I mean, maybe I would have this maybe on the sideboard, but we're actually, honestly, looking at the deck list, we have a lot of room at the 3-drop slot. Like, the only thing we have as a 3-drop is basically Lightning Skelemental and Bone Crusher Giant when we want to cast it. So there's some room to play Medieval, to be honest. There's some room. But honestly, for the most part, the deck is pretty solid, but just replace your Lilianas, which do nothing. That's a crap Planeswalker. and I think remove the Frostbite, because that is just a very weak, underwhelming removal spell, and you'll find that it's dead way more often than you would like. You'd be up against Death Shadow and realize, okay, it does not kill any of the Death Shadows, or the Scourge of the Skyclaves, or their Tarmogoyfs, nothing. And it's just, dead in hand. You can't even target their face with it. All right, everyone. That's it for Decklist review. Oh my god, everyone, thank you very much for making me a part of your daily routine. If I didn't get your comments or questions or Decklist, don't worry. You can join me every weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. You want to support the channel, you can do so. Leave a sub at twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. If you got Amazon Prime, link it to Twitch, and you can support the channel for free. Also, you can become a patron on patreon.com/Nikachu MTG. I'm getting a bunch of patrons lately, and I'm just wondering, is it like coming from Coffee and MTG, or is it coming from like my gameplay videos? I have a feeling it's coming from Coffee and MTG, and I should be thanking my patrons here, when usually I thank them on stream in my gameplay videos. Also, don't forget, if you want to see the replays, you can find them at Nikachu MTG Streams. That's my alternate YouTube channel, like a VOD dump channel. So go check that out for any sort of the replays to all this, if you need to see the replay. Don't worry, Jared, you're never late. That's what the replays are for. And if you want to be part of the action, you can always join the next day. We do this every weekday. So as usual, thank you. By the way, I just want to remind everyone, this show is nothing without all of you. It's only, the conversation is only possible because you are there to make it. So keep brewing up that coffee, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. See you next. Oh, I have a stream later today, 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. And I'll see you then. Take care.